So, reading from Chaitanya Bhagavata, Adi-Khanda, chapter 11, and this is Meeting Sriman Ishwar Puri. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Glory, glory to Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Master of all masters. Study was at the center of his childhood pastimes. In this way, the Lord, who is the jewel of the Brahmins, concealed his true identity. He did nothing but study. His handsomeness defeated millions of Kamadevs. On his every limb was handsomeness and grace that had no peer. His arms reached to his knees. His eyes were lotus flowers. On his lips were betel nuts. He was dressed in splendid garments. The Lord was always playful, joking, personified. When he walked about, the power of his learning made him accompanied by 1,000 students. In this way, the king of the three worlds walked in Navadvip. Appearing in the form of a book, Goddess Saraswati stayed in his hand. No other Pandit in Navadvip could equal the Lord in debate. The most fortunate of all the Pandits was Gangadas, for the Lord studied at his school. When the materialists saw the Lord, they declared, "Glorious, glorious, how can poverty and misfortune touch the parents who have this boy as their son?" When the women saw the Lord, they thought he was like Kamadev himself. When the blasphemers and offenders saw the Lord, they thought he was Yamaraj personified. When the Pandits saw the Lord, they thought he was like Brihaspati. In this way, following their hearts, everyone saw the Lord differently. When the Vaishnavas saw the Lord, joy and sadness entered their hearts. They said, "His body is glorious, but he does not taste the nectar of Krishna. What will all his learning do? He's still in the grip of time." The Vaishnavas were bewildered by the Lord's Yogamaya potency. They saw the Lord, but they did not see who in truth he was. Seeing the Lord, some Vaishnavas said to him, "What will you gain by spending all your time in study?" Hearing his servant's words, the Lord smiled and said, "I am fortunate to be instructed by you." In this way, the Lord was engrossed in tasting the nectar of learning. Even his servants didn't recognize his true identity. How could others recognize him? From the 4 directions, people came to Navadvip. In Navadvip were many scholars tasting the nectar of learning. From Chattagram came many Vaishnavas who assembled in a secluded place by the Ganga's bank. All had taken birth in this world by the Lord's order, and all were Krishna devotees who had renounced the world. They met, spoke, and listened. In that secluded place they talked about Lord Krishna. The great devotee Mukunda Das was dear to all the Vaishnavas. When Mukunda sang, those great Vaishnavas melted. In the afternoon, those great devotees would assemble in Advaita's home. When Mukunda sang songs about Lord Krishna, everyone there no longer knew about anything else. Some wept, some laughed, some danced, some rolled on the ground. Some could not keep all their clothing. Some loudly called out, some clapped their arms, some grasped Mukunda's feet. In this way there was great bliss. The Vaishnavas did not know anything about sadness or suffering. In his heart, the Lord was very pleased with Mukunda. If by chance he saw him, the Lord would always stop Mukunda. The Lord would question him about philosophy and logic. Mukunda would answer. The Lord would say, "No, it's not like that," and then they would argue. By the Lord's power, Mukunda was a great Pandit. He would debate the Lord. And the Lord recognized his servant. Using tricks of logic, the Lord always defeated him. When he saw Srivas and the other devotees, the Lord would challenge them with tricks of logic. Fearing his word jugglery, they would all flee. The devotees were naturally renounced. They tasted the nectar of Lord Krishna. They talked only of Lord Krishna, did not talk of any other subject. Seeing them, the Lord would question them with tricks of logic. When they could not answer, he would mock them. If one of them saw the Lord coming from afar, he would flee, afraid of the Lord's tricky questions. The devotees liked only to hear of Lord Krishna, but the Lord asked them only about logic. He did not ask them about Krishna. One day, the Lord, surrounded by students marked with the signs of pride and arrogance, walked on a main street. Mukunda was going to bathe in the Ganga, but when he saw the Lord, he at once hid and fled. Seeing this, the Lord asked Govindadas, "Why does that boy run away when he saw me?" Govinda replied, "O Pandit, I do not know. Perhaps he had some task to do." Then the Lord said, "I know why he fled. He does not like to talk about material things. This boy always studies the Vaishnava scriptures, and I only talk of logic and astronomy. I never talk about Krishna. That's why he runs away when he sees me." The Lord pretended to mock Mukunda, although in truth he was pleased with him. The Lord said, "Oh, little boy, how many days will pass like this? Where will you run? Will you always go this way and that way to escape me?" The Lord laughed and said, "After some days you will see on me the marks of a Vaishnava. I'll become such a Vaishnava that Brahma and Shiva will visit my door." Oh, my brothers, please hear my words. I'll become the best of all Vaishnavas. They who run now from me will one day sing my glories. After speaking these words, the Lord laughed. Accompanied by his students, he returned home. In this way, Lord Vishvambara enjoyed pastimes. He did not reveal the truth. Who has the power to understand them? In this way, there were some devotees in Nadia. However, everyone else in Nadia was mad after tasting the nectar of wealth and sons. When they heard the chanting of the holy names, these people made jokes. One of them said, "These people only want to fill their bellies." Another one said, "These people turn away from philosophy and Gyan Yoga, spend their time dancing around. Why do they do that?" Another one said, "I've read Srimad Bhagavatam many times. I did not see there any words, 'One must dance and weep.'" Oh, my brothers, when will the four brothers headed by Srivas Pandit meet? I cannot sleep after my meal. Is there no pious merit in chanting Krishna very, very softly? Why do these people sing and dance and scream? The sinners and offenders spoke these kinds of blasphemies when they saw the Vaishnavas. Hearing these mocking words, the Vaishnavas became very unhappy, and they called out to Krishna and wept. They prayed, "How many days must pass before this sadness is destroyed? O Lord Krishna, please appear in this world." Meeting at Advaita's home, the Vaishnavas described the blasphemous words. Hearing these words, Advaitacharya became like Lord Shiva himself. "I will kill them all," he roared. Carrying his dish weapon, "My Lord will come here. Then you'll see what happens to Nadia. I will place Lord Krishna before everyone's eyes. Then this person named Advaita will be Lord Krishna's servant." Oh, my brothers, the day will come when you will see Lord Krishna with your own eyes. Hearing Lord Advaita's words, the devotees forgot their sufferings and began to chant the holy names. When the supremely auspicious name of Lord Krishna arose among them, Lord Advaita and everyone else became overwhelmed. The flames that were the offenders' words went far away. The hairs on the Navadvip devotees' bodies stood erect. Lord Vishvambara was wrapped in study. He always thought greater and greater bliss. He always brought greater and greater bliss to his mother. At this time, Sri Ishwar Puri, dressed very humbly, entered Navadvip. He was saintly, devoted, very merciful, dear to Lord Krishna, and overcome by tasting the nectar of Lord Krishna. Because of his humble garments, no one could understand his exalted position. By divine arrangement, he came to Lord Advaita's home. At that moment, Lord Advaita was sitting down and absorbed in devotional service. Ishwara Puri very humbly sat down before him. A true Vaishnava cannot conceal his spiritual glory from another true Vaishnava. Again and again, Lord Advaita stared at Ishwara Puri. Lord Advaita asked, "Son, who are you? My heart thinks you must be a Vaishnava sannyasi." Ishwara Puri replied, "I'm the lowest of suitors. I've come to see your feet." Aware of what was happening, Mukunda began with great love to sing a song describing Lord Krishna's pastimes. Hearing Mukunda's song, Ishwara Puri at once fell to the ground. There was no end to the tears flowing from his eyes. Again and again he was plunged in a flood of spiritual love. Lord Advaita at once placed him on his lap. His arms became splashed by the tears from Ishwara Puri's eyes. The love did not stop. It grew more and more. Mukunda happily recited a verse from the scriptures. When Mukunda saw the Vaishnava's ecstatic love, peerless bliss was born in his heart. Everyone can understand the exalted position of Sri Ishwara Puri. Gazing at the signs of his spiritual love, everyone called out, "Hari, Hari." In this way, Ishwara Puri humbly walked in Navadvip. The materialists could not understand his true glory. One day, after he had left his students and was returning home, by divine arrangement, Lord Chaitanya saw Ishwara Puri. Seeing his servant, the Lord bowed down before him. Lord Chaitanya's handsomeness was beyond description. He was the reservoir of all wonderful virtues. Although no one knew what was in his heart, everyone offered him respect when they saw him. Ishwara Puri gazed at the Lord's body, which was very deeply marked with the symptoms of a very exalted person. He asked, "What is your name, O best of Brahmins? What is the book you carry? What do you teach? Where is your home?" The others said, "He's Nimai Pandit." Very happy, Ishwara Puri said, "You are he?" Then Lord Chaitanya invited him to accept alms, and the two of them went to the Lord's home. Sachi gave Ishwara Puri the food that had been offered to Lord Krishna. He honored the prasad, and then sat down in the room that was a temple of Lord Vishnu. Everyone suggested that he speak about Lord Krishna. As he spoke about Krishna, he was overcome with ecstatic love. Seeing this flood of wonderful spiritual love, Lord Chaitanya became very pleased. Ishwara Puri did not manifest these symptoms of love when materialists were present. For many months, Ishwara Puri stayed in Gopinath Acharya's home in Navadvip, and everyone was very happy to see him. Lord Chaitanya repeatedly came to see him. When he saw Ishwara Puri, Gadadhar Pandit shed tears of love. Gadadhar was deeply loved by all the Vaishnavas. From childhood, Gadadhar was deeply renounced in his heart, and Ishwara Puri sincerely loved him. To Gadadhar Pandit, Ishwara Puri read Krishna Lilamrita, a book he had written. Every evening, Ishwara Puri would read and lecture from the book, and every evening Lord Chaitanya would come and offer obeisances to Ishwara Puri's feet. When he saw Lord Chaitanya, Ishwara Puri would become very happy. He loved him dearly. He did not know that he was seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Smiling, Ishwara Puri said, "You're a great Pandit. I've written a book about Lord Krishna's pastimes. Please tell me all the mistakes in it. That would make me very, very happy." The Lord replied, "Only a sinner sees faults in a devotee's words describing Lord Krishna." A devotee does not write poetry whimsically, according to his own personal opinion. Therefore, his poetry, presenting the conclusions of Scripture, is always pleasing to Lord Krishna. An uneducated person may say Vishnaya, and a learned person may say Vishnave, but noble-hearted Lord Krishna accepts both these prayers. This is described in the following verse. Quote, "An uneducated person may say Vishnaya, and a learned person may say Vishnave, but Lord Krishna, who is interested in the love of his devotees, accepts both these prayers equally." One who sees faults in a devotee's words is himself at fault. Simply by describing the Lord, a devotee pleases Lord Krishna. Who is so daring that he will find fault with your descriptions of spiritual love? As he heard the Lord's reply, Ishvara Puri felt that his entire body was being splashed with nectar. Smiling, Ishvara Puri again said, "You will not find any faults, but there must be faults. Please describe them." Every day the Lord visited Ishvara Puri. They would happily talk for 1 or 2 hours. One day, as he heard Ishvara Puri's poetry, Lord Chaitanya found a fault. He smiled and said, "The Vera is not right." The Lord declared, "The verse is not right. That verse is not Atmanapiya." After speaking these words, the Lord returned to his own home. Ishvara Puri was learned in all kinds of books. He was very happy to taste the nectar of learning. He thought the Lord's statement about the verb, he considered it in every way. He decided that the verb was indeed Atmanapeda. I do not need to change it to Parasmapada. Hearing this explanation, the Lord became very happy. Defeated by his servant, the Lord agreed there was no error in those words. All the Vedas declare the Lord always becomes more glorious when he's defeated by his servant. In this way, Ishvara Puri spent many days tasting the nectar of learning with Lord Chaitanya. Made restless by tasting the nectar of devotional service, Ishvara Puri did not stay long in any one place. He traveled, purifying every place he visited. Anyone who hears the sacred description of Ishvara Puri will reside at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. The spiritual love that was present in Madhavendra Puri's body entered the body of Ishvara Puri. By Lord Krishna's mercy, Ishvara Puri obtained the love that was present in his spiritual master. Unhindered in any way, Ishvara Puri traveled from place to place. The 2 moons of Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda are my life and soul. I, Vrndavana Das, sing the glories of their feet.